Hey girl, if you clicked on this audio, I'm gonna guess you're probably tired as hell. Not just physically tired, like emotionally exhausted. The kind of tired where you wake up already overwhelmed before your feet even hit the floor. And honestly, I think a lot of moms are walking around feeling this way right now. But nobody really talks about it because we're all just trying to survive the day. Somewhere between taking care of everyone else, answering texts, working, cleaning, remembering appointments, making dinner, folding laundry, being touched out, overstimulated, and carrying the mental load for literally everyone. We kind of disappeared too. And I don't think enough women are talking about how easy it is to lose yourself in this survival mode. And not because you don't love your family, not because you're ungrateful, not because you're failing, but because you've spent so much time making sure everyone else is okay that you stop checking in on yourself. And honestly, that's exactly where I found myself. I remember hitting this point where I realized I couldn't even tell what I liked anymore outside of being productive for other people. I had no hobbies, no excitement, nothing that belonged to me anymore. I was just stuck on this hamster wheel every single day, doing what needed to be done and then calling it normal because honestly, I thought that's just what good motherhood became. Wake up, take care of everyone, go to work, come home exhausted, repeat. And somewhere in all of that, I stopped feeling like a person and I started to feel like a machine. Honestly, the best example that I could give you is I felt like a wet washcloth that literally has been like drained and twisted until one last single drop of water was out of the washcloth. I was exhausted. And maybe you know exactly what I mean. Maybe you've also sat in the parking lot for an extra 10 minutes just because it was finally quiet. Maybe you've also reheated your coffee 3 to 4 times and never actually finished it. Maybe you've looked around one day and realized everybody else still has hobbies and passions and things they love, and you can't even remember what yours used to be. And maybe the hardest part is the guilt because you love your kids more than anything. You would do absolutely anything for them, but at the same time, you miss yourself. And then you feel guilty for even thinking that. But I need you to hear me when I say this. You are not a bad mom for missing yourself. You are not selfish for wanting more than survival mode. And you are definitely not failing because you're burned the fuck out. You're carrying a lot, probably more than people even realize. And honestly, I don't think moms were ever meant to pour from an empty cup for years at a time and somehow still feel okay. That's just impossible. And I think somewhere along the way, we started believing that taking care of ourselves somehow made us selfish, that resting was lazy, that wanting peace was weakness, that motherhood was supposed to mean completely disappearing. But I don't believe that anymore because your kids do not need a perfect mom. They need a mom who feels alive too, a mom that laughs, a mom who feels joy, a mom who remembers that she matters too. And no, I'm not talking about some huge life overhaul. This is not a midlife crisis situation. I'm not talking about waking up at 5 a.m. and becoming a completely different person overnight. Honestly, I think getting your spark back usually starts really small, like listening to music again, sitting outside with your coffee before everyone wakes up, putting on makeup just because it makes you feel good, going on a walk, laughing with a friend, reading a book, starting a hobby, resting without guilt, letting yourself exist as a whole person outside of motherhood too. Tiny things, tiny moments, tiny reminders that she's still in there because she is. The version of you before survival mode, she's still there. Maybe she's buried under the exhaustion. Maybe she's overwhelmed. Maybe she's disconnected, but she's not gone. And I think that's exactly what the Full Cup Mom page is really about. Giving you permission to stop feeling guilty for being a person too. Not perfection, not pretending motherhood is easy, not fake positivity, just honest conversations about burnout, identity, motherhood, and slowly figuring out how to reconnect to ourselves again. Because I know I cannot be the only mom that was feeling this way. And if this audio found you at the exact moment that you needed it, I want you to do one small thing for me after this. I want you to ask yourself this question: what used to make me feel like me? Not before the kids, but before survival mode. And whatever comes to mind, no matter how small or silly it may feel, I want you to write it down somewhere. Because reconnecting to yourself doesn't happen all at once. It happens in tiny little moments where you start choosing yourself again, too. And maybe that sounds a little dramatic, but honestly, I truly believe that moms deserve that. I think you deserve that. So if nobody told you today, you are not lazy, you are not failing, you are not alone, and you still matter too. And if this made you feel a little less alone, hang with me over here at the Full Cup Mom. We're going to figure this out together, one full cup at a time.